Well, hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, we're talking today about the ninth plague. We know what the last plague is, the killing of the firstborn. And this is the last plague here. We've gone through the plagues here going into Egypt that happened to Egypt. They were more nuisance plagues, and then this plague here, or then the plagues were more serious after that, where it wipes out the food sources. Okay, now we're back into one more plague that is more of a nuisance, but it is showing God's power over these false gods that Egypt had. And this is the darkness here. God allows the darkness to envelop the whole land. So you have Re, the sun god. Okay, the sun god is not doing anything because obviously it's dark, and it'll be dark for 3 days. You have the sun god, or who was the sun god, and you have Nut, a sky goddess, okay? And then you have Hathor, a sky goddess also. So you have all these, sky goddesses and Nut again. So all those gods, and they were powerless. They couldn't do anything about this. And it was showing God controls everything here. Let's read here today. It's taken from Exodus chapter 10, and this is verses 21 to 29. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand toward the sky, so that darkness spreads over Egypt, and darkness that can be felt." So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and the total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anything, see anyone else, or move about for 3 days. Yet all the Israelites had light in the places where they lived. Okay, it's kind of funny if you like. There was a definite distinction. The Israelite people had light, but the people in Egypt had darkness. Well, if there's light, several miles away, that light will transmit over here. But God sets it up so that there's a distinct difference between that. What I also want you to notice here too is this. God and with Moses and Aaron is finished giving warnings about the coming plagues here. With darkness, there was no warning. He didn't go to Pharaoh and say, "Hey, if you don't let my people go, this place is going to get dark." It was just darkness came. And so Pharaoh would have been like, "Oh no, now what happened?" Okay. Knowing good and well, this came from God. The other plagues, the 8 plagues before, all came from God. And now, so this is just, another one of them here. Okay. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, "Go worship the Lord. Even your women and children may go with you." Okay. This sounds good. He's like, the women and children can go. Exactly what he said could not happen last time. But there's a catch here. Only leave your flocks and herds behind. Now you're thinking, you're going to go out and make sacrifices. What are you going to sacrifice? You're going to sacrifice animals. So Pharaoh is going, "No, take all your people, but no animals to actually do the sacrifice." Verse 25, "But Moses said, 'You must allow us to have sacrifices and burnt offerings to present to the Lord our God. Our livestock too must go with us. Not a hoof is to be left behind." Okay, so all the animals are supposed to go. Not a hoof is to be left behind. It's kind of funny. We have to use some of them in worshiping the Lord our God, and until we get there, we will not know what we are to use to worship the Lord, which is true. It wasn't until, they had some guidelines, coming down from Abraham. But when the law was given, on the Mount Sinai, it was all laid out, what animals are clean and unclean and so forth, and to be sacrificed. Verse 27, "But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he was not willing to let them go. Pharaoh said to Moses, 'Get out of my sight. Make sure you do not appear before me again. The day you see my face, you will die.' 'Just as you say,' Moses replied, 'I will never appear before you again.'" Okay? Pharaoh thinks he has power over the people and of Moses, and he's like, "Get out of my face. You'll never see me again." And Moses says, "Yeah, you won't see me again. The next time your son is going to be dead, and that will be a surprise to him." Okay. This plague here, this ninth plague here, with this darkness. The question I have for you is: are you okay being in the dark? Okay. Egypt represents the world, and the people of Israel were coming out of Egypt, and darkness also symbolizes separation from God. Okay, so are you okay being separated from God? Obviously, Pharaoh was. He was like, yeah, and he lived in it for 3 days. But hopefully we're not like that. I want you to look, though, some of these plagues are repeated in Revelation in the end times, and this will be after the church is raptured. There'll be the tribulation, and which I won't be here because I'm part of the church, and so I'll be raptured out. And you don't want to be here. We talked about already that hailstones would be falling that are 100-pound hailstones, and if a hailstone falls from the ceiling of this studio here, it's going to put some serious hurt on me if you drop it, 4 feet down. But if you drop a 100-pound hailstone from the sky, it's going to just totally kill me, okay, and kill everything else, and kill the trees and all that. It would be unbelievable damage. Well, the darkness is talked about, and it's taken from Revelation 16, verses 10 through 11. Now listen to this. It says, "The fifth angel poured out the bowl on the throne of the beast, and his kingdom was plunged into darkness." Okay, darkness again. "People gnawed their tongues in agony and cursed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, but they refused to repent of what they had done." Okay, so here plagues are unleashed. These 7 bowls of God's wrath are unleashed, and it wasn't like one was unleashed and then it stopped and another one. It's like one on top of the other, and so you could be suffering from the boils along now with the darkness. Okay, in Egypt here, it was one after the other, and this is probably in a several month period time that this happened. So you didn't have several plagues all at once, but here in the tribulation you will have several plagues all at once. And the people were so tore up, they were like, the way it describes it there, they were gnawing at their teeth because they couldn't stand it anymore. All right, so that's the plague of darkness. And the big thing is, are you okay living in the dark? I'm not okay living in the dark, and I prefer to have communion with God and not be separated from God. Thank you for watching. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Exodus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.